1970. Window nets, mandated for driver safety. After Richard Petty's terrifying crash at the 1970 Rebel 400 Darlington, where Petty's arm flailed outside the car during a rollover, NASCAR quickly mandated window nets in all cars. Petty's mother helped fashion the first net, and by September 1970, the safety nets were introduced. The rule was aimed at keeping drivers' limbs inside the car and shielding them from debris and crashes. Window nets have since become standard safety equipment and prevented countless injuries. They also serve as a signal. The driver lowers the net to indicate they are okay after an accident. 1971. Ban on Aero cars, the 305 CI engine rule. Factory teams pushed the limits of wild aerodynamics and 7-liter engines in 1969 to 70. Examples include the Dodge Daytona and Plymouth Superbird. NASCAR wasted no time and promptly acted to curb speeds and costs. In 1971, Bill France Sr. effectively outlawed the so-called Aero cars by limiting them to small 305 cubic inch engines. This drastic rule made the winged supercars uncompetitive, and they disappeared. The final Daytona winged car to run a tiny 305 cubic inch engine was in 1971. The ban put an end to the brief high-wing era and kept speeds under control. It also ushered in NASCAR's modern era, with more standardized car shapes and engine sizes. 1975. Modern point system introduced, the Latford system. In 1975, NASCAR overhauled its championship scoring to a new point system designed by Bob Latford. Every race had equal points available regardless of length or purse. Winners earned 175 points, with modest drops per position, plus 5-point bonuses for leading a lap and most laps. This system rewarded consistency. As Latford said, being champion is about how you did in races you did not win. Used from 1975 through 2003, it crowned champions based on season-long consistency. However, it occasionally produced low-win champions, e.g. Matt Kenseth's 1-win 2003 title, prompting later reforms like the playoff format. 1988. Restrictor plates at superspeedways. After Bobby Allison's terrifying crash at Talladega in 1987, when his car blew a tire at over 210 miles per hour and nearly launched into the crowd, NASCAR took action. Starting in 1988, restrictor plates were mandated at Daytona and Talladega. These small aluminum plates limited airflow to the engine, cutting horsepower and reducing top speeds to around 190. It was a safety move, triggered by Allison's crash and Bill Elliott's blistering 213 miles per hour qualifying lap. But while speeds came down, the plates brought a new challenge: pack racing. With cars bunched tightly together, the risk of massive multi-car wrecks, the kind fans now call the big one, became part of the superspeedway experience for decades to come. 1991. Pit road speed limits. NASCAR introduced pit lane speed limits in 1991 after a series of scary pit road incidents. One of these was a particularly harrowing 1990 Atlanta crash that killed a crew member. Before 1991, drivers raced down pit road at unsafe speeds. By April 1991, NASCAR set a pit speed limit, varying by track, and enforced it electronically. This greatly improved safety for pit crews. The rule virtually ended pit road injuries from car impacts. Other racing series soon followed suit by instituting pit speed limits. By 1994, almost every motorsport had one, following NASCAR's lead. Pit stops became more orderly, and speeding penalties became a new strategic factor in races. 1994. Roof flaps to prevent car blowovers. After a series of frightening flips, most memorably Rusty Wallace's airborne crashes at Daytona and Talladega, in 1993, NASCAR stepped in. Starting in 1994, roof flaps became mandatory on all Cup cars. Originally developed by Penske and fine-tuned by Jack Roush's team, these spring-loaded panels lie flat until a car begins to spin. When that happens, the flaps pop up, breaking the aerodynamic lift that would normally launch the car. The result? Far fewer cars going airborne. Roof flaps have kept countless high-speed spins from turning into dangerous blowovers, making racing safer for drivers and fans alike. 2001. Mandatory hands device, head and neck restraint. After a heartbreaking wave of driver fatalities from 1999 to 2001, including Adam Petty, Kenny Irwin, Tony Roper, and ultimately Dale Earnhardt at the 2001 Daytona 500, NASCAR took decisive action. By the end of 2001, head and neck restraints became mandatory across the sport. The Hans device, short for head and neck support, is a U-shaped collar tethered to the driver's helmet. In a crash, it prevents the violent forward motion of the head that causes basilar skull fractures, the very injury that had claimed multiple lives. Since its implementation, NASCAR hasn't lost a single driver to that type of injury. The Hans rule marked a turning point, the beginning of a safety revolution that also brought stronger seats, better harnesses, and smarter helmet tech. It saved lives and changed NASCAR forever. 2002 to 2004. Safer barriers installed. NASCAR teamed with IndyCar engineers to develop the steel and foam energy reduction safer barrier, a soft wall technology. These barriers feature steel tubes and foam blocks that absorb impact energy far better than bare concrete. First installed at the Indy Motor Speedway in 2002, safer walls were gradually added to many tracks. They were installed at Richmond and Homestead in 2003, while Talladega and Daytona got theirs by mid-2004. Though costly to install, safer barriers greatly reduced driver injury severity and crashes. Life-threatening crashes into rigid walls became survivable, and by 2015, almost all NASCAR ovals had safer walls on the outer boundaries. It's considered one of the most important safety innovations in modern racing. 2003. No racing back to caution. Freeze the field, and lucky dog. Until 2003, when a caution flag waved, drivers often raced back to the start or finish line to secure their position. A dangerous practice when wrecked cars or safety crews were on track. After Casey Mears nearly hit Dale Jarrett's stalled car at New Hampshire in 2003, NASCAR changed the rule. Starting late 2003, when caution comes out, the field is immediately frozen by electronic scoring loops. Simultaneously, NASCAR introduced the Lucky Dog Free Pass. The first car, a lap down, gets a lap back under caution. This eliminated the perilous sprints under yellow and standardized how the running order is set during yellows. It improved safety for drivers and officials, while the Lucky Dog and later Wave Around rule helped lapped cars without unsafe racing. Racing back to the line became a thing of the past, making cautions much safer. 2004. Green-white checkered finish rule. NASCAR fans have long disliked races ending under caution, so in 2004, the Cup Series introduced the green-white checkered overtime rule. First tested in the Truck Series back in 1995, this rule extends a race that would otherwise finish under yellow. Instead of ending anticlimactically, the field gets a two-lap shootout, one lap under green, one under white, then the checkered. If a caution comes out before the leader takes the white flag, the attempt is reset and tried again, now with up to 3 attempts allowed. The change came right after a frustrating 2004 Talladega race that ended under caution, sparking fan backlash. The impact was immediate. GWC finishes added tension, chaos, and unpredictable drama to the final laps, often delivering the wild finishes fans craved. While the format has its critics, and has certainly caused its share of crashes and controversy, it ensured one thing: most races now finish under green, not yellow. 2004. Chase for the Cup. Playoff format introduced. In 2004, NASCAR overhauled its championship system by launching the Chase, a playoff-style format for the Cup Series. The move was sparked by the 2003 season, where Matt Kenseth won the title with just one victory, while more aggressive, high-winning drivers were left far behind. NASCAR CEO Brian France wanted a format that rewarded wins and created late-season drama. The original Chase reset the top 10 drivers' points with 10 races remaining, turning the final stretch into a high-stakes playoff. The impact was immediate. Winning became more valuable, and championship battles stayed alive through the season finale. Though some longtime fans resisted the change, arguing it broke from tradition, the Chase kept fans engaged and tightened the title fight. This bold shift laid the groundwork for further playoff changes in 2014 and 2017, all designed to boost excitement, reward aggression, and deliver climactic championship moments. 2007. Car of Tomorrow, Gen 5 Car Overhaul. After a tragic wave of driver deaths in 2000 to 2001 and growing concern over rising costs, NASCAR began developing a safer, standardized car. The result was the Car of Tomorrow, COT, a radically redesigned chassis that debuted part-time in 2007 and ran full-time from 2008. Safety was the core focus. The COT featured a boxier body, a higher roof, and a wider track. The driver's seat was moved closer to the center. Side doors were packed with energy-absorbing foam, and a reinforced roll cage offered added protection. It initially sported a futuristic rear wing, later swapped out for a traditional spoiler in 2010. The COT delivered results. No fatalities occurred in NASCAR's top series after its arrival. The standardized chassis also helped control team costs. Still, the car drew criticism for clunky aerodynamics and awkward handling. Fans and drivers alike found it less exciting to watch and drive. But despite mixed reviews, the COT marked a turning point. It laid the foundation for modern NASCAR safety, a blueprint further refined with the Gen 6, 2013, and Next Gen, 2022 cars. 2009, double-file, shootout-style restarts. In mid-2009, NASCAR overhauled its restart procedure to spice up the action and improve fairness. Instead of mixing lapped cars among the leaders, restarts would now feature all lead-lap cars lined up double-file at the front. Just like the original race start, lapped cars were moved to the back. Previously, leading lap cars restarted on the outside lane, with lapped cars clogging the inside, often disrupting battles for the lead. The new shootout-style format, borrowed from exhibition events like the All-Star Race, put the fastest cars side by side, head-to-head. The result was instant drama, cleaner battles up front, fewer, slower cars in the way, and tighter racing into Turn 1. Lapped cars still had chances to regain lost ground, using the lucky dog rule or wave-arounds, but the days of leaders getting stuck behind backmarkers on restarts were largely gone. This change was widely praised by fans and drivers alike. It added intensity to late race restarts and ensured that when the green flag dropped, the best had a fair shot at the front. It remains a staple of modern NASCAR. 2014, elimination-style playoffs and winner-take-all finale. In 2014, NASCAR overhauled its playoff format to create a more dramatic win-or-go-home structure. The chase expanded to 16 drivers, with a new elimination bracket cutting 4 drivers every 3 races, narrowing the field from 16 to 12, then 8, then 4. In the final race, the remaining 4 drivers compete head-to-head with the highest finisher crown champion. Race wins now virtually guaranteed a playoff berth, and winning during the playoffs automatically advanced a driver to the next round. This change aimed to mirror other sports' playoff tension and avoid situations where consistent, winless drivers beat multiple race winners for the title. The result was a playoff system filled with high-stakes moments. Each race became a pressure cooker, producing clutch performances and intense rivalries. The final race turned into a Super Bowl-style showdown, with all eyes on the 4 contenders. Teams shifted their entire season strategy to prioritize wins and survival. The 2014 changes fundamentally reshaped NASCAR's championship dynamic, making each round feel like a sudden death battle and every win more valuable than ever. 2017, stage racing format. In 2017, NASCAR introduced stage racing to boost excitement and reward drivers throughout the race, not just at the finish. Races are now split into 3, sometimes 4, segments, with the top 10 finishers in Stage 1 and Stage 2 earning valuable points. Each stage winner also gets a playoff point, crucial for championship seeding. The final stage plays out as a traditional race to the checkered flag. Designed with input from teams, drivers, and broadcasters, stage racing added structure and intensity to races' midsections, which were often uneventful in the past. It also gave TV networks natural breaks for commercials without missing green flag action. On track, the system added new layers of strategy. Teams now face tough choices: chase stage points early or prioritize positioning for the race win later. The added pressure keeps the field racing hard at multiple points, not just the end. Stage points can make or break playoff chances, making every lap matter more than ever. 2017. Damaged vehicle policy. No extended repairs. In 2017, NASCAR introduced the Damaged Vehicle Policy, DVP, to limit how long teams can repair crash damage during a race. Under the rule, teams have just 6 minutes on pit road to fix a wrecked car. If repairs exceed that window, or if the car needs a tow or heads to the garage, it's automatically out of the race. Mechanical repairs in the garage are no longer allowed for returning to competition. The goal was to cut down on long delays, reduce costs, and improve on-track safety by keeping severely damaged cars from limping around and dropping debris. It also sharpened the focus on competitive integrity. Only cars able to meet minimum speed and withstand the race pace are allowed back out. Strategically, it changed how teams approach damage control. Quick pit work is now essential, and minor wrecks carry higher stakes. While some fans miss the underdog story of a beat-up car returning for points, the DVP has generally improved race flow and safety. 2019, post-race disqualifications for failing inspection. For decades, NASCAR had a reputation for leniency. Illegal cars were fined or docked points after the race, but wins were rarely taken away. That changed in 2019, when NASCAR introduced a bold new rule. If a winning car fails post-race inspection, it's disqualified. As NASCAR's Steve O'Donnell put it, "If you are illegal, you don't win the race." Now, full post-race inspections happen right at the track. If the winner's car breaks the rules, the win is stripped and awarded to the highest-placed legal finisher. The disqualified team gets last-place points and loses the trophy. This immediate disqualification policy was prompted by earlier controversies, like encumbered wins in 2017 and Kevin Harvick's 2018 playoff win that was only ruled illegal days later. The change brought clarity and urgency. Fans no longer leave wondering if the winner will be penalized days later. They find out within 90 minutes. It also sent a clear message to teams. The days of gambling on illegal tweaks were over. While rare, disqualifications have happened, including a notable Cup Series DQ in 2022. The policy has forced teams to be more careful, especially with the winning car. Additional deterrents, like suspending crew members or barring cars from qualifying after repeated inspection failures, have further emphasized NASCAR's zero-tolerance stance. Ultimately, this rule restored faith in the outcome. A win now means a legal car, a fair result, and no asterisks. 2022 Next Gen Car Design Overhaul. The next Gen Car, Gen 7, introduced in 2022, marked a major leap in NASCAR's evolution. Designed to modernize the sport, cut costs, and level the playing field, it brought sweeping changes. Key updates include a crash-resistant composite body, 18-inch aluminum wheels with a single lug nut, and an independent rear suspension paired with a rear-mounted transaxle, replacing NASCAR's decades-old solid rear axle and 4-speed gearbox. The car also saw major safety upgrades. It features redesigned front and rear crash zones, plus a stronger roll cage. After early crashes raised concerns, NASCAR reinforced the chassis to better absorb rear impacts. Aerodynamically, the car uses a full underbody tray and rear diffuser, allowing tighter, more competitive racing on many tracks, though performance on short tracks and road courses required continued tweaking. Built with cost control in mind, the next gen is a spec car. Teams now buy standardized parts from approved suppliers. That shift, combined with limits on car inventory, made it easier for smaller teams to compete with the giants. Pit stops also evolved, with crews adapting to the faster, single-lug wheel changes. Ultimately, the next gen represents a bold new chapter, one that blends modern automotive tech with NASCAR's traditional door-to-door action. It's not just a new car, it's a new era for stock car racing.